welcome all of you to our today's discussion on the topic of Palestinians in Syria, the bleeding wound. The conflict in Syria generated an entirely new generation of refugees. Palestinians living in Syria once again faced the diaspora, leaving them without shelter, food and medical treatment. And still to this day there is no hope in sight. In today's panel, our guest, Dr. Hweidi, coming from Lebanon, will cover, among other things, the following topics: the situation of the Palestinians in Syria, especially their legal situation and their interaction with the Syrian government and people; the role of the United Nations Relief and Works Agency in the conflict and their attempts to assist the refugees; the impact of the crisis on the region and the situation of the refugees in the neighboring countries. Following the panel, Mr. Abu Mustafa Samara, coming from Jordan, will delight us with music and some nasheed. But first of all, let me introduce you to our guest. Dr. Hweidi is the Arab Regional Coordinator of Palestinian Return Center and the Director of the Palestinian Organization of the Right of Return, also known as PABIT. The Palestinian Return Center is an independent organization based in the UK. It specializes on research, analysis and monitoring of issues concerning the Palestinians and their internationally recognized legal right to return. The aim, among others, is to preserve Palestinian identity and to increase and widen the awareness of the Palestinian diaspora here in Europe. PABIT, the Palestinian Organization for the Right of Return, assists Palestinian refugees in Lebanon. It advocates the Palestinian right of return and is committed to preserve Palestinian identity. PABIT, which means in Arabic the unshakable one, focuses on implementing Palestinian culture and traditions in refugee camps despite adverse conditions. PABIT wants to prevent the normalization of refugee camps, but at the same time declines Lebanese citizenship. The organization emphasizes that this does not strip the Palestinians of their civil rights. Dar Janub, our host today, is an association for anti-racist and political peace initiative. It was established in the year 2003 by students in the course of anti-war demonstrations against the war in Iraq. The idea was to combine the efforts of Turkish, Arabic and Austrian students in one organization because in most of the cases those groups don't mix in protest movements. Over the course of years, Dar Janub established contact with Palestinian organizations. In the year 2005, a delegation who visited Palestinian camps in Lebanon, assisted by Dr. Hweidi. Since then, the focus of this association is to raise public awareness for the Palestinian case, among other things through publications, conferences and discussions with experts. Last year, for example, Lebabon attended the conference of Reclaiming Palestine. Now I actually would like to give Dr. Hweidi the floor.
Thank you very much, Maya. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I'm very happy to be here this evening, and many thanks for you, for Dar Janub, for their preparations and for organizing such an important event. I'll start my speech by sharing you a very short film. It is prepared and produced by the well-known Al Jazeera channel. Unfortunately, it is in Arabic, but I will explain and comment on the report at the end. Please, let's start with the report. Let's start with the report. It's a very short story. It will explain horrible stories that the Palestinian refugees of Syria are facing nowadays. Okay, as I told you, this is one of the horrible stories that the Palestinian refugees of Syria are facing daily. So the mother has a Syrian nationality, while the father is a Palestinian refugee of Syria, and Sundus also a Palestinian refugee from Syria and has a Palestinian travel document. So the family took the decision to escape of the battles that happened in Syria and choose Jordan to be their place to stay. So when they tried to enter this country, so the Jordanian authorities said to them that it is allowed only for you, the mother, because you have the Syrian nationality, while it is not allowed to your daughter because she is a Palestinian from Syria. So she tried hardly to join with her daughter, and she visited a lot of let's say decision makers in Jordan. And this is also before the law also taken by Jordan to prevent both the Palestinians and Syrians to enter Jordan. So the officials there told her that the entrance of your child needs a special permission from the King of Jordan himself. So it's very difficult, of course, for her to reach the king. So also again the family took the decision to change the country. So she traveled and stayed in Turkey. And by the assistance of some organizations that interested in human rights, so after 4 years of separating the woman with her daughter, the combination happened in Turkey. As I told you, this is one of the very sad stories that we hear daily. Let me also share you some figures and statistics of Palestinians from Syria. Nowadays, today, it is Thursday, 23rd of April 2005. The Yarmouk camp besieged since 655 days. No electricity in the camp since 735 days. No drinking water in Yarmouk also since 225 days. Number of victims of the camp only 174 victims, but the whole Palestinians victims of Syria today is 2,831 victims. Now, what about the other camps? Because the situation of the Palestinians of Syria, not only the Yarmouk camp, there is also other camps inside. Now, the Husseini camp, for example, the Husseini camp, it is sieged since 553 days. This camp is controlled by the Syrian regime, but also after all of those days, it is prohibited for any of the Palestinians to enter this camp again. The other camp, which is Spena camp, it is also besieged after 526 days, and it is also controlled by the Syrian regime, and also prevent the Palestinians who displaced from these camps to go back again to their homes inside the camp. Handarat camp, it is also displaced from Palestinians. I mean, the Palestinians of this camp also displaced out of this camp and besieged since 725 days. It is controlled by the opposition, and also the opposition prevent the Palestinians who displaced from the camp to go back again to their homes inside the camp. Now, Draa in the south. Draa camp, no water also, no pure water, no drinking water since 372 days. 70% of these camps already destroyed on the ground. Jarabana, Sayyida Zainab, Ramel, Aidul camps, and Homs and Hama, it's a little bit better than other camps. According to UNRWA statistics, there is 564,000 Palestinians registered. Those numbers, all of these refugees, evaluated by UNRWA that they are in need for help. Now, 270,000 Palestinians of those more than 500,000 are displaced inside Syria. About 80,000 of Palestinians, they are displaced out of Syria. About 44,000 they are staying in Lebanon. More than 10,000 they are staying in Jordan. In Turkey there is about 3,000. In Egypt there is 6,000. In Gaza there is 800 families. And in Cyprus, in Libya, those numbers, if we collect these numbers together, and let us imagine there is about 50,000 Palestinians are staying inside the camps of Syria. The big question now, there is more than 100,000 of Palestinians of Syria is missing. Where are they? Nobody knows. We raise our voice. Please, the embassy, the Palestinian embassies in such countries should look for this huge number. What are they? Are they underground? Are they become a food for the fish? Are they in prison? We are talking about more than 100 Palestinians of Syria. Where are they? Nobody knows. It is the responsibility of the international community. It is the responsibility of UNRWA. It is the responsibility of UNHCR. It is the responsibility of the Palestinian Authority. All of those get the responsibility to follow this issue. Now, also a big question. Why it happened? And was it possible to avoid this calamity? Since the beginning of the conflict inside Syria in March 2011, we as NGOs raised the voice. Keep the camps away of the internal conflict. Keep the Palestinians away of the internal conflict. We have no interest to be a part of this conflict. And the Palestinians, their war is not inside. Their war is against the Israelis' occupation, not inside any countries. And we have also an experience, a very hard and harsh and negative experience of interfering inside the internal affairs of the Arabian countries. And we have some examples. In the 1970s, in Jordan, because we interfered in the internal affairs of Jordan, the Jordanian authority take the decision to expel PLO, Palestinian Organization Liberation, and expel the Palestinian Liberation Organization to Lebanon. And I don't know if somebody of you heard about the massacres happened against the Palestinians in Jordan, which we call the massacre of September 1970. Another example, in Lebanon, the civil war in 1976. Also, till now, as Palestinians from Lebanon, we are paying the price of interfering inside the internal affairs of Lebanon. Till now. And the second Gulf War. Why we support this party against this party? It is out of our concern as Palestinians. We have the cause as Palestinian refugees. Our target is the right of return to our homeland. We have no interest to be a part of any internal affairs. So, as I ask the big question, why it happened? Yarmouk camp and other Palestinian refugees camp becomes like a shelter at the beginning of the conflict inside Syria. It becomes like a shelter. You know what I mean by a shelter? Because in the beginning, the camps becomes away of the conflict. So it becomes a safe place for those who escaped from the battles inside Syria. So Yarmouk, for example, was just 150,000 Palestinians and Syrians inside the camp. After just 1 year of the conflict, it becomes 1 million, because it is a safe place for those who displaced from the areas. Not only Yarmouk and other camps, but this advantage, it becomes an opportunity for the armed groups who have problems with the regime, also to have this place as a safe place also for them. Please go out of the camp. You should not use the camp as a place for fighting against the regime. If you have a problem with the regime, go out and fight the regime from outside the camp. But unfortunately, it was not happened. So many of the wanted armed groups becomes inside the camp, and the regime follow these wanted groups. The snowball becomes grow up till we reach this point, the beginning of this month. The IS, the Islamic State, attacked the camp in the cooperation with Nusra, and we are facing now a very dangerous problem inside Yarmouk camp, which represent and become a symbol of the Palestinian existence in Syria. Now, what is the role of UNRWA? What is the role of UNRWA? As you know, in 1948, in 11th of December 1948, the General Assembly launched the 194 resolution, 1994 resolution. I think most of you know this resolution, which calls for the right of return of Palestinian refugees to their homeland, and the compensation, and also the restitution. This 194 resolution needs a mechanics with a committee to be implemented. So also the General Assembly established the UNCCP. UNCCP, which is the United Nations Conciliation Commission for Palestinians. Its role is to facilitate the implementation of the right of return, the 194 resolution, to facilitate the implementation of the right of return of Palestinians and to protect the Palestinians. But this UNCCP committee consists of France, Turkey, and the United States. At the mid of 50s, this committee stopped working. But by the way, each year this committee presents its report to the General Assembly. Till now. But there is no concrete action on the ground. So, UNRWA now, on 11th of September 1949, according to 302 resolution, UNRWA established to provide Palestinians with the humanitarian assistance, the legal advices. Humanitarian assistance means the hospitalization, education, loans, etc. And protection at the same time. But what do we mean by protection? With respect to UNRWA, they consider that when they provide this humanitarian assistance, they provide protection for the Palestinians, which is, of course, is not enough. What about the physical protection? Okay, providing hospitalization, education is good, but what about protection, the physical protection? Not only for Palestinians of Syria. Who will protect the Palestinians of Shafat camp in West Bank, West Bank, for example? And who will protect the Palestinians inside Shafat camp in the West Bank, in the West Bank? And who will protect also the Palestinians of inside Gaza, Palestinian refugees inside the camps of Gaza? In the last aggression against Gaza, UNRWA cannot protect, or could not protect its premises. Their schools becomes a target for the Israeli bombs. So, is it possible to protect Palestinians, refugees, in future? The answer, of course, is yes. What we shall do in this case? According to the law, UNRWA, what we are asking for in the future, to expand UNRWA mandate, to modify UNRWA mandate, to develop UNRWA mandate. And by the way, the constitutions, the agreements, the laws, etc., those issues, why they are signed for the humanity, or for the development of the human being, to protect the dignity of the human being, etc. If these issues becomes against the humanitarian dignity, let's say, for people in general, those issues should be changed. So after 67 years of Nakba, of course, now UNRWA should take this issue into consideration. How is that? We need just one country. One country to believe in these modifications and to present a project in front of General Assembly. Just whether Arabian, Islamic, foreign, any country. To present this project in front of the General Assembly and to discuss this issue again. But how can, in this case, we should benefit from the Palestinian state inside the United Nations? which now it is an observer. It is an observer. It has no rights to provide any to put this project on the agenda. It needs just one country. In this case, the Palestinian Authority, the Palestinian state should play the role of coordination, play the role of lobbying with other countries in the United Nations in order to present this project in order to be discussed again. Now, Israel and Palestinians of Syria. It is the dream. It is the dream of Israel to see that the Palestinian refugees becomes in more than 60 countries in the world. It's a dream. And it's a dream also to expel Palestinians not only from inside Palestine, even from the countries around Palestine. Now, if we go to the statistics, now 88 of Palestinians, they are staying inside mandatory Palestine, I mean in 1948, West Bank and Gaza, which is 48% of the Palestinians are staying inside, and 40% of the Palestinians, they are staying in Syria and Jordan and Lebanon. And of course, Iraq is also close to those countries. So in 2030 and 2003, after the occupation of Iraq, we lost about 30,000 Palestinians of Iraq. They are now in different places. Just of the 38,000 of Palestinians, just only there is 8,000 Palestinians inside Iraq. And nowadays, what about the Palestinians of Syria? Now, in Europe, there is about 50,000. Just in Austria, there is about 3,000 Palestinians. In Sweden, there is about 17,000 Palestinians. And everywhere. Now, they are in more than 60 countries. You know, the refugees is the obstacle against the peace process. And the camps, they are the symbol of right of return. We lost in 1994, in 1974, we lost Nabatia camp in Lebanon. In 1976, we lost Al-Za'atar camp. And we closed to lose Nahr al-Barid, but after fighting now, the reconstruction happened on the ground. And also not only the camps of Syria, but the existence of Palestinian refugees in Syria. So it becomes a dream. It was a dream, sorry, for Israel, and the dream becomes true by a way or another. So what is happening to the Palestinians in Syria, we believe is a free service to Israeli occupation. And of course, it is threatened the existence of Palestinian refugees and their right of return in the future. What is the role of PLO? What is the role of Arab League? What is the role of the United Nations? PLO, 13 visits to Syria happened since the beginning of the conflict. 13 visits. And in each visit, there is a meeting in the Palestinian embassy with the different factions, and there is an agreement and signed by all parties in order to keep the camp area, especially area, away from the struggle and to protect the Palestinians inside Syria. 13 visits, the same thing. And after the 13 visits also, the result is 0. And all of these agreements, they are trying to implement some of those agreements inside the camp. It faces a lot of this part blame the other, and the other blame the first, and between this and that, the Palestinians paying the price on the ground. So nothing happened till now. Now the Arab League just take a statement that they are calling to stop the war inside Syria and to stop the battles with the other factions inside, and to take actions to provide some humanitarian assistance on. But also things on the ground, there is no concrete issues on the ground implemented. And also the international community. Just 2 days ago, there was a meeting in the Security Council. And Pierre Cromwell, who is the commissioner of UNRWA, also made a press conference, and the Security Council launched an initiative of 3 steps. The first step is to provide humanitarian assistance of Palestinians who stayed in El Yarmouk camp. It is just an initiative for El Yarmouk only, to provide assistance to those who are inside the camp, and to facilitate or to find a passage for those who want to leave the camp, from the camp to other camps, to other areas, and to provide assistance also to those who displaced and become beside the Yarmouk. In Yalda and Saham, this is an area close to Yarmouk. But to be honest with you, it is a dangerous steps for us as well. What we are looking for is to make pressure to expel those armed groups from inside the camp to outside the camp, and to facilitate the going back of those Palestinians from outside to inside the camp. Not to make facilities to let the Palestinian refugees inside the camp to go out of the camp. You should make your effort at the international community and the Security Council to put your pressure to prevent this conflict. Now, not to let the Palestinians go out of the camp and become the camp under the control of the regime, like Syria and like Spain. Because of that, actions should be also taken against these armed groups inside the camp, and to make your efforts to expel them, and to make pressure on those countries who support these armed groups, because they need money, they need weapons. From where they will get their money and the weapons? Of course, there is countries. Provide them of those issues. So you have, as an international community, to make pressure on those countries, to make pressure on those groups if they believe really of the humanitarian conditions of the Palestinians, and not only the humanitarian, even the political issue of the Palestinians. So they should not support those groups inside, because now they are breaking the image of Islam, not only of Palestinians. Our Islam is the religion of tolerance, is the religion of peace, is the religion of beloved. It is not the religion of violence. It is not the religion of those pictures, horrible pictures that we saw on the TV day and night. So you should make an effort to oblige these countries to expel those armed groups, and to make some solutions for those Palestinians who engaged in this group, to have solutions for them in order to reintegrate them with the community inside. Because if we go back, the targeting Taliban, for example, now there is a lot of Talibans. When they target Taliban in this way. Now, if also they targeting the IS or the Nusra in the same way, I believe that they will have any other branches in other countries. So we have to to be wise for the coming future, how to deal with this groups. Now, what are the role of NGOs? Our NGO, for example, as Palestinian Refugees Center, and we are also there is with the working group for Palestinians of Syria. We are raising the issue. We are documenting what is going on inside Syria daily. We have a report about what is happening inside Syria, who kidnapped, destroyed, etc. Any developments, and to let the media know and all the people know what is going inside Syria. And at the same time, there is another NGOs, another organization. They are also providing some humanitarian assistance inside Syria. But it is not enough. There is a big need. Even UNRWA, when they provide such assistance, it is not enough. There is a lot of needs for those Palestinians. Now, the situation of those displaced Palestinians inside the countries, especially in Lebanon, you know the situation of the Palestinians in Lebanon. No civil rights, more than 72 jobs is provided for the Palestinians. Shortly, no civil rights for Palestinians inside Lebanon. Crowded places inside the camps, and difficult circumstances, unemployment inside the camps. 25.5, the illiteracy, the ratio of illiteracy inside the Palestinian community in Lebanon. Hardship cases. So now 44,000 Palestinians of Syria becomes the situation more and more difficult, day after day. So the role of the NGOs is to raise awareness and to let the people know what is inside. Now, what about the solution? I'm coming to the end. The solutions, it is a political one, sure. And now the Palestinians of Syria becomes a part of the whole solution of Syria. It is not a way for split or divided away of the whole solution. But to be honest with you, we are very afraid of the future. If any solution could be obliged on Syria, we can make the price by a way or another. But to be brief, it is a political solution, and the role of the international community, of the Palestinian Authority, of the UNRWA, of the UNHCR, etc., to make pressure on them to protect the Palestinians. But what about the Palestinians out of the 5 regions ruled by UNRWA? UNRWA its responsibility to provide assistance and what things that we talked about in 5 regions: in Lebanon and Syria, Jordan, West Bank, and Gaza. Okay, but what about the Palestinians out of those 5 regions? Nowadays, there is 56 Palestinians from Syria. They are in Egypt, in a prison in Egypt. And also there is a lot of Palestinians of Syria in Cyprus and other areas other than those 5 regions. The responsibility of those Palestinians should be taken by UNHCR, because this is the law. Any Palestinian displaced from any of those 5 regions to other countries should be followed by the UNHCR. But UNHCR is not taking responsibility. So it needs a lot of coordination from UNRWA and UNHCR to follow also this issue, to provide protection. We are all the time shouting we are in need for protection, because if there is no protection for the Palestinians, any changements, any political changements, they are paying the price. So we are in need to expand UNRWA mandate and to find a solution for the future of Palestinians, because if the situation is still as it is, the mess will be wider, and of course the reflection will be not on the Palestinians themselves, but on the Palestinians, and on the Arabs, and on the Muslims, and on the humanity in general. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I have a question concerning the refugees, the Palestinian refugees from Syria and Lebanon. How are they registered, and what status do they get?
Okay. Now, Lebanon took a decision to prevent Palestinians and Syrians to enter Lebanon again. So, in order to live in Lebanon, they have to be registered legally, and at the same time to have a permission, a special permission from the Lebanese army in order to enter some of the camps. So this residence for only for 3 months. If they want to renew this residence, they have to pay money also. And not all the time they are renewed this residence. No, sometimes they take the travel document and put a stamp on this document. You have to leave this country. You have to leave Lebanon. So a lot of obstacles. Not too much clear the legal status of Palestinians of Syria in Lebanon. Say they are living day by day, which is very difficult for them. And each month, any of the Palestinians who wants to enter the camps, he should have a permission from the Lebanese army. Yes.
And what can or should Europe do to improve the situation, especially the situation of refugees, and maybe even the situation of Lebanon? Because as far as I know, the Lebanese population has already problems with increasing number of refugees, not only Palestinian but Syrian.
What we believe in that providing the humanitarian assistance for Palestinians in Lebanon or Palestinians displaced from Syria is a kind of a protection for the Lebanese as a country. Because, of course, there is no interest for the Lebanese government to find the unemployment inside the camps, to find illiteracy inside the camps, to find the crowded places inside the camps. Of course, so it's better for the Lebanese government to provide this humanitarian assistance in order to protect themselves. And we visited also in the past, we visited both presidents, whether Michel Sleiman or Emil Lahoui, from my mouth to his ear directly. Give the Palestinians their civil rights, and will be a protection for you as Lebanese and for us as Palestinians. But you know the political issue in Lebanon and the sectarianism and the demographic issues in Lebanon. Because Lebanon believes that if they give us our rights as Palestinians, I mean the civil rights, it could facilitate facilitate us to forget Palestine and to forget our right over there, and to have Tawtin, the Lebanese nationality. But it's contrary of that. Let's imagine the situation of Palestinians of Syria before this conflict, for example. They get civil rights. They get civil rights. They can work. They can own property. They can educate freely. They can get hospitalization freely, and they never forget their homeland. And the Palestinians of Jordan. The Palestinians of Jordan, not only they have civil rights, they have also political rights. But at the same time also, they never forget Palestine. And also the Palestinians in Europe. You know, tomorrow there is the conference of Palestinians of Europe to be held in Berlin. This is expected more than 10,000 Palestinians of Europe will attend this conference. I think it is yearly happening. And after many years, and they get the European nationalities, they will not also forget Palestine. So as much as give the Palestinian to live in dignity, as much as you help him to live in freely, and also to be more attached to his career and to his right to return to his homeland. Yes.
Thank you very much. I would like to give the audience the opportunity to ask some questions. You're welcome, please. Please.
You said that one country should bring the issue of UNRWA for discussion again in the UN. Which country would you think is able to do that?
Yours.
No, but is there a fair chance of any country doing that, or are there any? Are you trying to reach something like that with any country?
Actually, it is our job as NGO. There is our voice to push forward to this issue. But you are asking a very good question. There should be a country, just one country, to believe in this issue. And this is now not only our job, also this is your job to help us in order to make some pressure, whether the Arabic country or Muslim country, who this is a call for those countries who is supporting us as Palestinians, in the media supporting us. Yeah? And this kind of supporting, we are going to see this issue on the ground, to see the practical support. And this is an opportunity. Many Palestinians now, they are dying in front of those countries. So what is your role? Just to make a statement? Just to make a meeting? Or to make things for future? To have a lobby at least inside the UN. So, which country? I cannot name just one country, but it is a call for all the countries that is supporting Palestine. Whether they are Arabian or Muslims or any other countries. What do you suggest?
That's the thing.
Maybe another? Yes, please.
How big is the influence of al-Nusra in the camps?
Okay. You mean in Syria or in Lebanon or everywhere? Or?
In general.
In general, it is of course not accepted. The ideas of these strange groups inside our camps. It is out of our culture, out of our traditions, out of our religion, etc. But they are hunting, let's say. Because they find some adolescents, they are in need for money, they are in need for this age, carrying weapons, etc. So they are hunting. So they find some of those people and try to pay them some money or any other issues in order to encourage them to be a part of this group. But there is no influence, let's say, because it is not accepted on the popular level, and also not accepted by the most of the political issues inside the camps, which is a kind of support for us as Palestinians. Now, I think close the stream of money and close the stream of support, of weapons supported these groups, and these groups is going to be melted by itself, because quick come, quick goes. Yes, I think.
I have an additional question. Keeping in mind the recent events, Palestinians once again being forced out of their homes, can we talk about an ongoing Nakba, or is it crucial to distinguish between what happened in 1948, and what is happening now?
This question reminds me with a very old lady who obliged to displaced from Syria to Lebanon. Also, she keeps her documents from Palestine with her all the time. So this documents, she lost these documents inside Lebabon camp because of shelling and because of bombing. And also, she expressed this the second Nakba for Palestinians, because it is not easy to find yourself after 65 years that you are staying in a country as a refugee and living in dignity and have the right to move, to live, etc. And to find yourself suddenly a displaced person, lost your house, lost your job, lost your money, lost your etc. But according to the youngs, especially to the youngs, as we see from year to year, these youngs become close more to their Palestinian cause. This humanitarian conditions, whether it is poor or whether it is rich, whether it is difficult, whether it is improved, it has no relation with the political issue. Our career as Palestinians is a political issue, not a humanitarian one. It's good to live in dignity, it's good to live in good circumstances. But the Palestinian inside the Ain al-Hilwi camp, for example, or Nahr al-Barid camp, or any of the Palestinians in Lebanon, or in Gaza, go and ask them, for example. After destroying your house, did you forget your career, or did you forget your homeland in Akka, in Haifa, in Jaffa, and different Palestinian villages? The answer is automatically no. If you ask any of them from where you are, I'm from Faraj. By the way, I'm from Faraj. I belong to Akka district in Palestine. And of course, our dream and my son's dream is to go back to their homeland in Palestine, in spite of the poor conditions they are living in the camp. So yes, it is very difficult circumstances. It is unacceptable way of living, but at the end they are looking for their right to return to their homeland in Palestine. Yes.
Sure.
Yeah, inshallah, that would be
Inshallah.
the right word in this case. Do we have any question from the audience? Okay, thank you very much. I would like to thank you, Dr. Hweidi, for your expertise, and of course the audience. I hope we could enlighten you on the severe situation of the Palestinians, and it's to emphasize that a solution has to be found as soon as possible. Do you have some last words you would like to say, maybe?
I would like to thank Janoub again, and to thank you very much, Maya, for your moderation, and also many thanks for the audience, and hope next year to see you in other place. The other place for me is to see you again in Palestine. You are welcome there. Thank you very much.
Some refreshments for you, and if you would like, we can of course continue the dialogue in between some bites of delicious foods. If you need any further information, maybe about Dar Janoub, feel free to ask us, feel free to ask Mr. Hweidi about anything you want, of course. And the web page is www.darjanoub.net, there you can get all the information you need. Thank you very much, and enjoy the food and the music, of course.